I have no idea what's just happened there. Are we back live? Is anybody there? I have no idea what's going on. Hello? Is anybody out there? Saying I'm back live. Hello so far. Your stream's just completely disconnected there. Just sort of ruined it. After we just beat Stoke City 6-0 as well. Typical. Well, I'll just have to sort all that out after we're finished streaming. Oh, you've just... Oh, so far. It was a hell of a first game. Hell of a first game. Antonin. I think he's starting over Esposito. He's just bagged himself a hat-trick. But then, just as the game was coming to an end, the stream completely died. And I have no idea what happened. But we will just quickly review the Stoke City score then, just for the sake of the VOD. Antonin got himself a hat-trick, Lyndon Gooch with 2, and Nicolo Armini with 1. It was an absolutely sensational performance from the boys. Completely dominated Stoke. And fully deserved 3 points there. Got a long time to wait between this game and the next, so we'll power through. Must be internationals. Hey. Stream's hard, man. Why do I have to have technical problems? I wonder if I can combine them videos to make it seem seamless. Probably not. It was only live for 13 minutes before it decided to do that. Hansa Olsen is struggling with not being in the side. Armini has come in and done pretty well. I might give Hansa Olsen some more game time just to try and keep him happy. He doesn't want to leave, so the threat of being transfer listed has just worked on Hansa Olsen, thankfully. Yeah, the stream seems to be... I have no idea what happened there. Completely disconnected me. Hello, Scrub Gamer. How's it going? So if you did miss the start of the stream, we've just beat Stoke City 6-0 away from home. And we are currently sitting top of the championship with a game in hand on Newcastle and West Brom. Now, obviously, the Newcastle game didn't go too well for us when we did play them earlier in the season, but we do have them coming up pretty soon again. Away from home this time, we'll have to try and exact our revenge. Load of scout reports coming in. It's what I do when I'm not streaming. I just log on to the game and then... Am I having issues again? I'm not doing too bad, Scrub. I've just completed my 2-week self-isolation from work, so as of tomorrow I will officially be allowed out of the house. Be nice to see the sunshine. So Esposito does resume full training. The problem for him is he scored 6 goals in 12 championship games and performed very, very well in them. But Antonin has come in since his injury and got 10 goals in 9 games and performed even better. So what would you boys do? Would you slap Esposito back in, or would you stick with Antonin because of his good form? Esposito is obviously, he's just a better player in terms of his attributes, but it would seem a little bit cruel and a little bit harsh to drop Antonin after what he's done for us so far. Another half a derby coming up against Middlesbrough next. Even more scout reports coming through. Yeah, I think I will. I think I'll have to stick with Antonin whilst the goal scoring form's going well. We'll look to use Esposito off the bench and maybe in a game we're struggling. He can also play it on the left hand side as an inside forward or an inverted winger, which could be an option. It's not ideal, but I think Esposito's going to have to sit the next few games out until Antonin's hot form starts to dry up. I was anticipating Esposito being our talisman. I wasn't expecting Antonin to come in and do the job. Lyndon Gooch as well, performing far above Jack Clark's average rating on that right hand side. So 2 of our loan players who were theoretically better than the players we've got at the club, they're going to have to be dropped. Which I'm fine with. I'd rather play players I own and not the players that I loan. Load of scouting reports, them will come in handy when January hits. Not be long, we're in the middle of November now. We do have 7 million quid, £8.5 million to spend in January, should we need to. And there is areas of the squad where we're not that great. And I am talking about Ballymumba in central midfield here. He's been performing so well, far and above what his attributes suggest he should be performing. He is improving. He's not championship level. I don't care what the game says. But should I even risk upsetting the squad by signing somebody new and replacing Ballymumba for them? I don't think I should. I just don't think he's got Premier... Currently operating... My coach reckons he's operating at a Premier Division level. Maybe he is in terms of his performances. He very well might be, but his attributes are not quite there. So we will give Hancha Olsen the start in today's game. Armenia is struggling due to the international games that he's been playing anywhere. Lyndon Gooch is coming in on the right hand side. Esposito is coming out for Antonin. We do want Josh Scowen on the bench though. We'll get to our second game of the day. It will be Middlesbrough. Let's get a kick off. Now Middlesbrough always have decent players for the championship level, so this game's not going to be a pushover. Already the first 10 minutes or so says to me Middlesbrough haven't mauled the ball. So maybe we need to calm our player down a little bit. Why? The most exciting game so far today. Balanced. Are we going to have a first half without any highlights? Not often it happens, but it does happen. There we go. First highlight of the game. 40 minutes in. We're putting some pressure on the Middlesbrough defence as they very well keep possession. Tavernier on the left-hand side, cutting in, switching it to Ashley Fletcher on the right. Get the challenge in. He's getting past his man. He whips it in. We do get it clear, and we can break with Ballymumba. Come on, Bally. Nice through ball, Antonin. He's in behind. What a finish. Oh, he's offside. Oh, that was a hell of a finish. It was a great assist by Ballymumba as well. And there we have it. Middlesbrough 0, Sunderland 0. Not the greatest of first halves, but a little unfortunate to get the offside goal there. Another highlight now. 15 minutes in. 5 minutes into the second half before we get our first. Not too bad. Playing it well in the centre of the midfield. Ballymumba with the ball over the top. Antonin's in behind. I tell you what, there's something special about this lad. His 14th goal of the season. He's only started 10 championship games. Ballymumba and George Dobson combining well in the centre of midfield. And that through ball is absolutely lovely. Wood, yeah, he needs to have a word with himself once he gets off the pitch. Half an hour to go in this match. Can we get ourselves 2-0 up? That would be ideal. Andre Anderson gets dispossessed. Middlesbrough do manage to get a clear, and Assombalonga can bring it down this right-hand side for Borough. He's in behind. His 14th goal of the season, matching Antonin. I'm not watching this. Get off. We might end up having to take off Antonin. He is the player who's struggling the most in terms of his condition. Right, we'll bring him on. We'll bring Esposito on. I also bring on Marcinski for Andre Anderson playing behind the striker. I would take a draw out of this game. I don't think we've played particularly well. I just hope we don't get beat. Assombalonga gets past his man. Plays it in. Oh, he hits the post, and O'Hara gets incredibly, incredibly fortunate. It is going to be a corner for Middlesbrough though. Oh, good claim by O'Hara. I was nervous. I was very nervous there. Come on, boys. Surprise goal. Batista Maya plays it in. Oh, it goes all the way over the top. Hansha Olsen keeps it alive. Plays it back to Batista Maya. Esposito. Tell you what, lads. We've got two strikers. We've got two very, very good strikers. Look to make our final sub of the game. Lyndon Gooch is struggling out there. We'll bring on Jack Clark. And it looks like the time is just ticking away. Middlesbrough not coming back into this. And we get away with that one. Goals from Antonin and Esposito giving us the 2-1 away win. Against a local rival as well. So hopefully the board are pretty happy with that. Oh, we are stretching our lead at the top of the table. 3 points clear from Newcastle now with a game in hand. And 5 points clear from West Brom with a game in hand as well. Have we played West Brom this season so far? Don't think we have. We've got them at the back end of December. December is going to be absolutely huge as to where our position lies in this table. That's our 7th game unbeaten in a row. We do only have 4 games before our next game against Bristol Rovers, so we'll rest the boys for a day from training. Look to get our boys fit as well. So not long to go before the January transfer window in key positions. Is there anywhere I even want to improve? I don't know. I think we've got decent enough strength and depth with what we've got. Our first 11's obviously playing incredibly well. So unless there's somebody out there who's willing to join us at a Premier League level in the Championship, maybe we don't need to change anything. It just doesn't feel right going through a transfer window without positions where you know, right, I need to improve that. So, Bristol Rovers, how's our boys doing? I mean, he's still not entirely fit, so we'll get him off for Hansha Olsen. Lyndon Gooch can start on the right hand side. Antonin can start up top. Marcinski can start behind Andre Anderson. We'll get Josh Scowen on the bench, and that is going to be that. I'm hoping Ballymumba and George Dobson can really start improving to the point where I want to play them in the Premier League. Because I secretly do want to play them in the Premier League, even though I know we've got better options out there and we could sign a better player. Being two of the youngsters at the start of the game for Sunderland, both English as well. Got a little bit of sentimentality there, which is not always a good thing on Football Manager. As Batista Maya picks up the ball on the right hand side, goes for goal, easily saved. Marcinski to Mumbai, plays it through. Antonin is there. He's offside. He's getting caught a little bit offside, a little bit too much for me, Antonin. Oh. We will look to make a sub now. Ivan has just picked up a slight knock. There's no point in risking him. We've got Luke 09 on the bench. He's a decent enough attack and wing back option to bring on, even if his quality's not quite there. Just switch back from an attacking. There's Antonin picking up a knock as well. We've got Esposito on the bench to bring on, and we have ourselves a highlight. Jose Gomes on the left hand side and combining with Ballymumba. Ball's played in. Esposito heads over. Sloppy from the goalkeeper, giving it to Lyndon Gooch on this right hand side. Back to Luke 09. Strike it, son. I know you've got the strike. We've seen him score some pretty good goals from right back. What do you do? What do you do? Esposito's 9th goal of the season. He's second in 2 games coming off the bench. And Ballymumba again turns provider. Tell you what, lads. I think we've got something special on our hands this season. Batista Maya plays it in. Hansha Olsen's back post. There's no way with this group of players we should be winning this many games in the Championship. Now we have it Sunderland 1, Bristol Rovers 0. Passionately tell the boys that we're happy with how things are going. Hello, Bosco, mate. How's it going? We've played a couple of games so far, Bosco. Beat Stoke City 6-0 away from home before the stream died. We then beat Middlesbrough 2-1 away from home, and we are now drawn 1-1 with Bristol Rovers. A counter-attacking opportunity there for them. And they make us pay. Adam Fitzpatrick with his 7th goal of the season. Jose Gomes is the man who gives the ball away on the halfway line. Dobson could maybe do a little bit better here. Pressing him a little bit earlier. I'm not doing too bad, Bosco. Today is my final day where I have to stay in self-isolation. So as of tomorrow, I will be returning to work. And until you've just said that, Bosco, I completely forgot it was Easter Monday. So happy Easter Monday to use out there as well. Marcinski. Oh, went over the keeper. Thought it was going in. We will go back attacking now. We need to get ourselves back in front. And there's Kalisa. Oh, who was offside there? Hold on. Oh, missed it. Oh, I've just missed the goal as well. We'll see it. We'll see it. In 3D. It's a corner. Batista Maya plays it in. Back post. Kalisa heads it down, and Esposito. His 2nd goal today. Doing very well coming off the bench. 15 minutes left. We will look to make our final sub. Lyndon Gooch can come off for Jack Clark. We're playing pretty well in attacking, but we'll go back to positive just to try and reduce the risk of them counter-attacking us, which is the main worry. Can we win this? We do. Ballymumba keeps possession as well. Batista Maya sets away Esposito. Can he get his hat-trick? He certainly can. I think, Bosco, at the start of the season, mid-table / top half, maybe trying to challenge for the playoffs would have been a realistic aim. But we are now top of the league. And if the result stays the same today, it's likely to be 6 points clear from Newcastle in second. And this is like 20 games into the season. So at this point, you've got to say automatic promotion is now our goal and our aim. If we can win the league, fantastic. But obviously, top 2 is what we are hoping for. It's a little bit surprising. I didn't think we'll be able to do it with this squad. But as you can see here, we are 5 points clear from West Brom in second with the game in hand. And 6 points clear from Newcastle United in third with the game in hand. The only real worry is our performances against the top sides in this league. We've been beaten by Newcastle, and we've also been beaten by Sheffield United in fourth. We haven't played West Brom yet, but even our draws are not too bad. Fulham away from home is not a bad draw. Bristol City at home is a little bit disappointing. Millwall away is a little bit disappointing. But I think our boys, they've done us well so far. And if they can keep it up for the rest of the season, there's absolutely no reason why we can't get automatic promotion or win the league. Might be a little bit premature to get in the Premier League. I don't think any of our players that we currently own, don't think any of them are ready for the step up. But obviously, when you get promoted, we will have a hefty, budget, and we'll be able to reshape this squad as to how we see fit. We've got plenty of experience from getting promoted from the Championship to the Premier League, and exactly what kind of players can do you well there. So I have no doubt we'll have a good season in the Prem as well. Hard games are coming. We've got Newcastle and Sheffield United after this Millwall game in a row. If we can get a decent amount of points out of those 2 games, then I'll start to feel a lot more confident. Right back wise, Ivan out is not ideal. Hans Olsen's not going to start there though. We'll put Luke O'Nien at right back. We'll bring Hans Olsen into the centre back role. Put Josh Scowen on the bench for Vardadam, whatever his name is. Very defensive formation from Millwall. So we will have to be at our best to break them down in the final third. If we can get a draw against Newcastle away from home, I will be absolutely delighted, I think. Sheffield United at home, we could maybe nick that and get 3 points. So 4 points out of them 2 games is the dream. As we go close, 17 seconds in. Not too much to speak about the first 18 minutes of this game. It is going to be a difficult game against Millwall today. Going to have to rely on our wingers, I think, to be able to unlock their defence. Or a killer pass by Ballymumba, which he's been doing in the past few games. And then he does that, hits our player. Batista Maya to Jose Gomes on this left-hand side. Got a lot of Millwall bodies in that box. Can we find out as Batista Maya shoots? It's blocked. They defend him well. Lyndon Gooch on this right-hand side. Out to Luke O'Nien. Back to George Dobson. See, they're just letting us have the ball. It's whether we can use it. And Jose Gomes can use it. Yeah, I think it will be Bosco. I think it'll be the teams who set up like this Millwall side who we end up dropping points to more often than not. But once we're 1-0 up, the game's ours to lose. We can stop pushing forward so much, try and draw them out a little bit. Because they will have to make a change at one point. Is that a penalty? It is a penalty. who's stepping up to take it. It is Sebastiano Esposito. Can he score in 3 games in a row? He certainly can. Sunderland 2, Millwall 0. The game is going well. Highlights straight from kickoff as well. Can we go 3-0 up, or are Millwall going to mount an attack? Mahoney on this left-hand side. Gets past Luke O'Nien. Good stop by George Dobson. Well covering by the defensive midfielder. Marcinski can drive forward. Does get upended by number 8 for Millwall, but he plays it off to Lyndon Gooch. On this right-hand side, Luke O'Nien's overlapping. Our crossings hasn't been great today. Been hitting the defence quite a lot. Esposito goes close there. Batista Mai with a free kick. Ballymumba's back post and he hits the side netting. Good first half by us. Oh, Lyndon Gooch picks up a knock. We'll bring on Jack Clark. We've got decent options in the second string 11, I think. Hancha Olsen's not. I thought he was going to be our best centre-half when I signed him. He doesn't even seem to play particularly well when we are dominating a game. I think Armini is the right choice to start at centre-back. 15 minutes to go, we'll look to make a couple of changes. We'll bring on Andre Anderson for Marcinski, and we'll bring on Denver Hume for Jose Gomes on that left-hand side. As we get ourselves a free kick, Batista Maya steps over it, goes for goal. Oh, good save by the keeper, but it comes to Esposito, and he gets his 13th goal of the season. Bear in mind, he's been out for 6 weeks with his injuries as well. And he puts us 3-0 up. Oh, it was Batista Maya hit the post. It wasn't even a keeper save. Five minutes to go in this one. We will just casually sit, and Millwall still aren't going for this game with 2 minutes remaining. Batista Maya with the free kick, back post. Kalaisa gets his head on it. Are Millwall going to get themselves a consolation? Let's have a look. Have they even had an opportunity yet? Ferguson gives the ball away to Luke O'Nien, and maybe it's going to be us with the opportunity. Or maybe not. What's happening here? Is this genuinely a highlight, or are you just blown for full time? Yeah, I think he's just blown for full time here. There we have it then. Sunderland 3, Millwall 0. A thoroughly professional performance. I did think we might end up struggling against Millwall there after I seen their formation, but thankfully we came through it with flying colours. Still 5 points clear from West Brom and 6 points clear from Newcastle with games in hand. Lyndon Gooch out for 4 weeks. That's a little bit disappointing. Lyndon, as you can see, scored 6 goals in 4 starts in the Championship. Obviously 10 substitute appearances as well, but he's done fantastic so far. Esposito with the man of the match performance after his first start since his return from injury. And we will rest our boys because we've got a huge game coming up next against Newcastle United away from home. So yeah, 4 points out of these two. I think we're absolutely thrilled with that. Absolutely delighted. 3 points, I think we're still pretty happy with that as well. Sunderland and Newcastle are bitter rivals so far. They are local sides. It is the local derby. And yeah, Sunderland and Newcastle are not best friends. Sheffield Wednesday in the FA Cup. I wouldn't mind getting seeing how far we can get in the cup competitions. We came pretty close to getting to the finals. Antonin winning Young Player of the Month award in the Championship, 5 goals in 4 games. Oh, I've got such a selection dilemma. Oh yes, so far. It is a big... when we were both in the Premier League, it was always the biggest match of at least Sunderland season. We didn't have much else to cling on to apart from the derby. Lots and lots of place presence. Yeah, I'd like to think fans in England have put that to the side now. I don't think it's so prevalent as it was in the 70s and 80s. And it's not very often you have any massively major trouble when it comes to Derby Day. So Esposito is averaging a 7.82 in his previous 5 games, whereas Antonin is averaging a 7.72. It's a good dilemma to have. We'll keep Antonin on the bench for today. Esposito seems to be in hot form. Injuries is making our subs a little bit awkward. We will start Armeni. Ivan returns at right back. Jack Clark comes in at right wing for the injured Lyndon Gooch. See, the problem with Newcastle side, it is very much still a Premier League side. Alan St-Maximin, he is absolutely unreal on Football Manager. Joelinton, they signed for 40 million quid in real life. 34 and a half, I think it was 40 million euros. And whilst he doesn't look fantastic or anything, he should be doing them a good job in the Championship. The likes of John Joe Shelby and Longstaff, both decent enough Premier League players. Right, lads, come on. We need to avenge our Derby Day defeat when we were at home and get a win today. Yeah, I think with a lot of the mammoth clubs so far, obviously 60, 70,000 seater stadiums, you've got a lot of people who aren't like local fans. You've got a lot of tourists in some of them. You've got a lot of people who, they're not diehards. I often think the lower down the pyramid you go in English football, the better the atmosphere at the stadiums, honestly. Not a great start we've just had against Newcastle there. Joelinton putting them 1-0 up 4 minutes in. And it doesn't look like we're playing particularly well either. I would love it if we could equalise before half time. Clark to Dobson. Ivan Lopez offering himself on the right hand side. Whips it in. Ballymumba goes over. Doesn't trouble the goalkeeper there. So we've slowly came into that game more and more as the first half progressed, but it's not enough. We're going to up our tempo a little bit, see if that can cause a few cracks in the Newcastle defence. Nah, I didn't think we're getting anything out there today, boys. I think Newcastle are a little bit too good in a one-on-one match. Thierry on the right-hand side plays it in. Joelinton's there again. Oh, they're just messing with us here. Oh, is that going to be a penalty? No, it's not. Good save. Good save again. O'Hara, absolute legend. How they didn't score there, I have no idea why. Right, we're going a little bit more direct. We're going to pass the ball into space, try and use our athleticism to try and break Newcastle down, but it's just not happening, lads. It's not happening. Hosea Gomes gets cleared. Dobson, come on. Come on, Clark. Do something special. Find Esposito. Back to Clark. Whips it in. Batista Maya. Oh, he goes over the bar. Right, lads. 20 minutes to go. Who can change this game? Marcinski can come on for Andre Anderson. Anthony can come on for Esposito. And I think that's pretty much it in terms of attacking changes we can make that might have an effect on the game. We're going very attacking. I'm going for this. Come on, boys. Come on. Give me the chance. Give me the opportunity. Give me something to cling on to. It's not happened. Come on. Anybody? Nah. Newcastle 1, Sunderland 0. We have suffered defeat in both games in the derbies. The Sunderland fans will not be happy. Only 2 points clear from West Brom now and 3 points clear from Newcastle, but we do still have that game in hand. 3 days to go before our Sheffield United game. Hopefully we can bounce back against Sheffield United. They did inflict us with a defeat in the away leg. Josh Scowen wants to go out on loan. No, he doesn't. George Dobson does his job. Speaks to him, calms him down. I like Josh Scowen. I would like to keep him in the squad if at all possible. But when you've got George Dobson playing in defensive midfield and playing the way he is, it's difficult to give Scowen game time, really. Got too many players on our bench who want to play first team football. Whilst I haven't been on the stream, I have been scouting a lot of players whose contracts are running out in the final 6 months of this year. So, we might be able to get some decent freebies in. Right then, here we go. Massive performance needed from the lads today. We're going to start Anthony up top. Big decisions need to be made. Unfortunately, I would like Lyndon Gooch to return as quickly as humanly possible, because he has been playing well. And here we go then. Can we get our revenge against Sheffield United? We couldn't do it against Newcastle. Can we do it against these boys? Come on. First highlight of the game, 7 minutes in. Ballymumba's in the box. Ballymumba. His 7th goal of the season from centre midfield. Gives us the 1 goal advantage. Hell of a strike as well. Marcinski to Mumba. I tell you what. This boy's special. Another highlight now. Batista Maya with a look like a corner. It's a free kick. Sheffield United defend it well. We'll stick with this corner. Come on, Batista Maya. Show me what you can do. It's whipped in from post. Kalisa tries to get his head on it. Good challenge. This is probably an absolutely nothing highlight, but we'll sit and watch it anyway. Anthony goes close from the corner. Jose Gomes on the left-hand side, causing Sheffield United all sorts of problems. Ballymumba switches the play beautifully to Ivan. Don't shoot. He does shoot and he scores. That's why you don't listen to me, boys. I don't know what I'm talking about. You just do your own thing. I have told him to shoot less often. And particularly from these sort of angles. He was just fortunate that time. We give the ball away to the midfield. Fleck can play it forward. Pedro Porro to Freeman. Sheffield United cut us apart a little bit there, but they've dragged it back. Baldock on the right hand side. He scored against us last game. Doesn't do it this time. Sheffield United again coming down this left-hand side. Pedro Porro to Fleck to Lundstrom. Out to Baldock on the right-hand side. He's always got a pocket of space, and McBurney's there. 2-1. 2-1. I don't want to see it. It's not going too bad, Comedy Gamer 365. We have just suffered defeat against Newcastle again, though, which... that means 2 defeats against the Mags. We've got, I believe, 24 games played so far, Comedy Gamer. So another 22 to go. So we're over halfway through. It's not something I see myself so far, that. Only in the films these days. Ivan's having a good game at right back. I would like to keep him out there. Our bench is a little bit short. We'll take Antonin off for Esposito. We'll bring Scowen on for George Dobson. And we'll save our final sub just in case. We've played pretty well today against Sheffield United, but by no means are we home and dry. Oh, there's Armini picking up an injury at centre-back. Hansha Olsen can come in off the bench. Corner for Sheffield United. Freeman plays it in. Egan's there. He goes close. We'll go counter. They're very attacking. That is going to be full time. Sunderland 2. Sheffield United 1. I did say I would take 3 points after those 2 games and still be considered a good result. I just wish it was the Newcastle game would won. Oh, is that right so far? It's... I would say it's a thing in the past in England. I might just be a bit naive to it. It's certainly not something I see in Sunderland. Don't get me wrong, there is always trouble when Sunderland and Newcastle play each other on the day. But it's never anything absolutely crazy. Usually just young lads who've watched too many hooligan films. Two away games coming up next, Bristol Rovers and Birmingham City. He keeps popping up on my feed. Liechtenstein regen. 4 goals and 7 senior caps for his country as well. John McLaughlin's not liking being on the bench for O'Hara. Thankfully, George Dobson talks him round. Haven't seen too much from O'Hara in terms of his development. I hope he is improving. He is slightly. He doesn't have that much potential still to fill at 24 years old. Bookkeepers can continue to improve on Football Manager until they're probably about 27, 28. That's when they start hitting their prime of their career. There's Esposito out with another injury. It's the flu this time. But with another 8-day out there, that's probably 7 weeks he's missed so far of this season. Yeah, so far that sounds awful. Bring Marcinski back in for Andre Anderson in the attack and midfield role as we go to play Bristol Rovers away from home. Esposito's out, so Antonin gets his spot back up front. Let's see if he can make the spot his own again. Not that he has to prove himself. He's already done that multiple times over this season so far. First highlight of the game, 5 minutes in. It's Bristol Rovers on the attack. Machinio Hosea Gomes does well to get rid of that. And Batista Maya sets away Jack Clark on this right-hand side. Bury this. Saved by the keeper. Can he keep it alive? Back to Ivan. Nah, we'll lose the ball. Oh, don't be a counter-attack. Cassidy gets past his man. Hansha Olsen does well, though. Stands him up. Barrett to Clark. Naismith on the left-hand side. Can we get the challenge in, please? Please. I don't like this. Fitzpatrick. Can't get past his man, so he goes to Kilgour. And that was the highlight. Oh well, we'll take it. Batista Maya with a free kick. Goes for goal. Oh my days. Batista Maya with an absolute pearl of a free kick. David Beckham who? Oh, keeper got his hand to it and everything. Dobson needs to be careful there. Thankfully he doesn't give away the free kick, but Rovers do keep the ball. Strike. Oh. Raya Tauro Machino with his 6th goal of the season for Bristol Rovers. That was a very, very good strike. We had a couple of opportunities there to take control and get rid of it, but we didn't take it. Good chance by Jack Clark, but that's a hell of a finish. Absolutely no chance for O'Hara. Injuries. Denver Hume comes in at left back for the injured Hosea Gomes. Another corner for Bristol Rovers. Kalisa gets it clear. They're going to be the first to the ball though, with Fitzpatrick coming down the right hand side. Batista Maya, can I get the challenge in? Win this? Good stuff, Denver Hume. Now can we build something from the back? Don't do this to me, Football Manager. Thankfully, O'Hara keeps his cool in goal. Finds Jack Clark, who cuts in from the right hand side. Goes all the way to the left. He's got 3 options. Denver Hume's there on the left. Back to Batista Maya. Oh my god. Oliver Batista Maya. I tell you what, he's been unreal for us. Yeah, it sounds like it's a fart. Sounds like Poland. A little bit like the football hooligan films that you see. Hopefully within a generation or so, that sort of stuff is stamped out. Batista Maya is dragging us through this game. If we're to get 3 points, we owe him a great debt. So one of the things I might do in January is see if Oliver Batista Maya is interested in joining us permanently. I've never managed him on Football Manager 2020, but from what I've seen of the boy in the Championship, I think with his potential and his age, he could become something special. As he gets another free kick. Oh, he hits the wall this time. You can't do it every time. But Ballymumba's back post hits the post. We'll pick up with this highlight. Marcinski bringing the ball forward. Gets it to Batista Maya on the left. Ivan Lopez is there supporting. Plays it to Jack Clark. And Jack Clark, despite him not in the best run of form, gets his 6th goal of the season to put us 3-1 up after an hour. Again, some nice play by Batista Maya. Ivan always helping out on that right hand side, feeding the ball through for Jack Clark. And with only 20 minutes or so to go, I hope this game is pretty much over. But we'll have to wait and see. You never know, Bristol Rovers might end up making a comeback. Clark picks it up on the right hand side. Batista Maya combining with him again. Gets past his man. Whip this in. Oh. Marcinski. And there we are. His 5th goal of the season. Pete, we're getting close to working the league. We've been beat by Newcastle twice, which has been the most concerning issue so far this season. But other than that, we are doing pretty well. We started the stream with a 6-0 away win against Stoke City. Then the stream died. We then beat Middlesbrough. Beat Millwall. We beat Sheffield United as well. But the defeat against Newcastle still stings. Batista Maya with a free kick. Antonin is there, and Antonin gets his 15th goal of the season. Esposito's got a job in his hands getting back into this side though, Pete. Antonin has been doing some unbelievable stuff up front for us. 10 minutes to go, we'll look to make our final subs. Do we have any options? We have Andre Anderson can come on for Marcinski behind the striker, and Josh Scowen could come on for George Dobson. Pete, they give us like £70 million to spend in the first season. I can't resist. It's definitely the best squad we've had in the Championship, that Leeds squad that we've built. And I was just glad to be able to sign a couple of young English wonder kids for once. Because when you're shopping in bargain basement, you're not getting any English players there. Birmingham City, our former club, away from home next. They are doing pretty well in the playoffs. But yeah, Pete, this is how the league table is looking right now. 3 points ahead of Newcastle, 8 points ahead of West Brom with game in hand on both of them. Yeah, I'm certainly hope so, Pete. With the foundations we've been able to set in the Championship, we shouldn't need such a big turnover of players once we get to the Premier League, and I'm hoping that might help us, at least in the first half of the season, get into good form straight away. Because we always seem to have a really good second half of the season in the Prem. And the first half is where we struggle for consistency. Is Sunjic still at Birmingham? I believe he is. Yeah, he is. Very, very good Championship player, Sunjic. Probably should be playing in the Premier League with those attributes. Oh yeah, our youth intake preview. Doesn't look like we're going to have... Don't expect much from this youth intake is the takeaway from that. So Esposito is still out for this match, so Antonin will retain his spot up top. I think everything else is how we are going to have to leave it. We need the likes of Lendon Gooch, Armini, Esposito, all to return from injury, and Jose Gomes, so Denver Hume gets the start today at left back. Once we can get them boys back in, we will look in a lot healthier of a position. But Birmingham City come at us with a 4-4-2. Jude Bellingham. I would like to have him back at some point. Oh well, let's get into the game. We're on a good run of form. Obviously the Newcastle defeat did take the wind out of our sails a little bit. But against sides we should be beating or should be competing with, we're doing pretty well. Marcinski picks up the ball in the centre circle. He's got the option from Anthony on the right hand side, but he goes back to Ivan Lopez, who gets past his man. Back to Jack Clark. Whips it in. Batista Maya. Oh. Yeah, I'm absolutely loving Oliver Batista Maya, by the way. 12 assists in 24 games and 3 goals from that left wing. And he's our set piece specialist. He's been causing all sorts of problems for teams. Here it is here. Free kick, back post. You see it, and it happens. Oliver Batista Maya with another absolutely spot-on free kick to the back post, and Kalisa seems to be one of the players who benefits from it more. 6'5". He is the player we target our corners to. and he definitely benefits from Batista Maya being in the side. So I will look to sign Batista Maya permanently, as there we are again. Batista Maya with the corner to the front post, and Kalisa is the man who wins it. Again, another corner. Out to Hansha Olsen. Ballymunba. Goes close. He goes close. A decent enough first half from us. Not completely crazy. But doesn't look like Birmingham City are causing us too many problems. We'll keep an eye though, see what they end up doing in this second half. They remain in their 4-4-2 formation. Their keeper's having a very good game. Corner for Birmingham City, 60 minutes in. Hansha Olsen manages to get it clear, but Jeremy Bella. First opportunity for Birmingham City, and they get the goal to equalise. It is cleared by Hansha Olsen, but it's a great first. Oh, it's a superb goal, mind. Absolutely superb. We will go attacking though, off the back of that. They've went on the counter. Antonin's not having the greatest game up top, but we do not have the options to bring him off. Oh, get lost, man. I don't record highlight. Right. What can we do? Andre Anderson can come on for Marcinski. Luke O'Neill can come on at right back for Ivan. And other than that, Max Power is going to come on for Ballymunba in the centre of midfield. Come on, boys. We need a goal here. We need 3 points. I'm not going to push for it too hard. I don't want to leave myself too open to a Birmingham City counter-attack. Andre Anderson. I would guess would get about 35 million, Pete. Maybe 30. Batista Maya with a free kick. We've seen him do it. I will certainly try, Pete. I will certainly try. Now we have it. Birmingham City 1. Sunderland 1. Not the greatest. The nice thing about the Sunderland save, though, Pete, is I can sign players who are maybe not quite as good as I would usually sign, as long as they've got the potential. Because I'm going to be having them for multiple seasons rather than just one. But I will still try and get Champions League football in my first season if I can, and get to that 70-odd point mark. We'll basically have the exact same players in terms of who we'll be looking at and who we'll be scouting that Barnsley had. Because we're at the exact same point as the Barnsley save was. Didn't get promoted in the first season, so they were in the Championship in the second season. So you've got the likes of Lewis Montagnier who we could bring in. We know we know he would score goals for us. Nicholas Capaldo. Fausto Vera. There's options. I think if we can keep Batista Maya, although it was Abel Ruiz who we had on the left-hand side for Barnsley, wasn't it? And he did fantastic. We'll just have to see if we do get promoted, which is not a certainty. But West Brom seem to be dropping off a little bit from the chase for automatic promotion. We would have to sign a whole new squad, I think. Right, we're at home against Wigan next. We do need to get back to winning ways. Esposito returns from injury and he does come straight back into the first team squad. Although Antonin has still been scoring goals. His average rating over the past 5 games hasn't been too great. Jose Gomes is still injured for another 3 weeks. So Denver Hume keeps his spot at left back. We'll start Andre Anderson in the attacking midfield. Marcinski hasn't been doing that well out there. And that's it. Let's get to the game. Wigan sitting in 20 seconds, so we should be able to put them to the sword here. Whether we will or not is another matter. Oh, thank you very much, Roberto De Conto, for subscribing. I appreciate that highly. As Esposito puts us 14. His 14th goal of the season puts us 1-0 up. Did you enjoy your Pete at the very least? I think it's a good football documentary because the football documentaries I've watched in the past have basically been glorified PR adverts for the clubs. Whereas Sunderland, it's warts and all. Warts and all. Batista Maya with a free kick. Oh, he goes close. Marshall with a save. Yeah, but the 2 seasons of the documentaries, I think they're pretty well made, and it just shows you the sort of calamitous decisions we've had at the top, from the top down, basically. Oh, the first of the very depressing episodes. You know, going down into League One, and then obviously realise now we're first team squad, we'll be playing in this trophy rather than now under 23s. Nobody cared about it. None of the fans particularly cared. Until you start getting to them, the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, and then you realise, oh, there's a place at Wembley available here. And we get to the final, suddenly everybody's invested. We sell 40-odd thousand tickets, and then that's when we bottle it. That's one of the things with particularly epitomises the Sunderland squad over the last 2 seasons, is we are massive bottlers. We've got the quality, decent enough, but we can't handle the big occasions. Ballymumba does well there to spread the ball to Jack Clark as we go 3-0 up against Wigan. Esposito with his 2nd goal of the game and his 15th goal of the season. Wigan go close from a corner. Yeah, I think it happened with a lot of people told to grow up. It's what happened, well, it wasn't what happened with me. I was always planning on doing a Sunderland save this year. But obviously once the documentary came out, it just gave me that little extra push to stream it. And I've seen plenty of people in the first season managing Sunderland on FM fail. I think the board are pretty ruthless. And if you're on top of the league, they've got no qualms about sacking you after a bad run of form. As Esposito gets his hat-trick to put us 4-0 up. I should never have doubted Esposito. Despite his injuries, we know he can be the driving force to get us promoted. Denver Hume on this left-hand side. The ball was down the line, mate. And he gets his 2nd yellow card. Now this causes us major, major problems. We do not have a left-back in the first team squad now. We'll take off Andre Anderson. We'll bring on Luke O'Nien. He's pretty versatile as it is. We'll go back to a balanced team mentality. Try and keep our clean sheet. We'll make our final couple of changes. We'll bring on Anton in on the left-hand side. We'll bring on Marcinski on the right. And I'll tell you what, lads. Keep an eye on this for me as I get into the loot. Let's see how many we'll concede whilst I'm away. And we're back. That episode in the documentary, Pete, the transfer window episode, it does just go to show you how out of his depth Stuart Donald really is. I think they came in, and as a Sunderland fan, once we got relegated to the Championship, they came in and done incredibly well in terms of fan relations, PR. They did all the right things, they made all the right noises, they had things like fitting the seats in the stadium, getting the fans in to do it, with the players, with the other staff. They did a lot of really good things in that first summer. But they are just so naive when it comes to when it came to the football side of things. I mean, you've seen him. He had what's his name? Richard Hill and Tony Cotton and Jack Ross all tell him, no, don't make that offer for Will Grigg. It's too much. He's not worth that much money. And he hired them specifically to be their football advisors. So what does he do? He goes and pays $3 million. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, I can see why he did it. If we hadn't have signed a striker in that transfer window, the fans would have been up in arms about it. Because we just lost one of the top scorers in the league in Josh Madger. And really bitterly lost Josh Madger as well. We knew he likely wasn't going to stay at Sunderland, but we certainly hoped he would stay for the rest of the season. But as two Walter Gropes just said, I can't believe our plan B was John Marquis. And was he at Doncaster at the time? They wanted 10 million quid or something for him. So obviously that was never going to happen. But we shouldn't just have a plan B. We should have a C, D, E and F. And we shouldn't be waiting until the last day of the transfer window. And now I know it is difficult in the football, especially in the Football League. Nobody wants to make changes in January, and nobody wants to discuss a deal until they literally have to. But that's why he's got all them advisors there and all these people on his payroll. So that was the worst episode for me. That January transfer window one, not the Checker Trade Trophy final, not the playoff final. That one, when you're seeing basically Wigan having our pants down. Unbelievable. It's that sort of financial decision. Oh, Christ. That causes us the problems in the first place. Now, back to the game, though. We go 1-0 down against Brentford. Good free kick by them and a decent finish. Only a few minutes in, though, so no need to panic just yet. Free kick again for Brentford. Thankfully, we get rid of it this time, and Ballymumba can drive forward. Gets dispossessed, though. How are Brentford doing in the league? They seem to be a pretty good side going by the first 20 minutes in this game. Esposito wins the ball. Oh, come on, Seb. Oh, good save by Raya. Batista Mai with a corner. There's absolutely nobody there, Batista. Thompson can bring it forward now for Brentford. Counter-attacking opportunity. O'Hara with the good save. Kalisa gets rid from the Brentford corner. And I think we're going to go back to a balanced team mentality here. It's not looking too hot right now. Our squad is pretty bare thin at the moment. Losing the likes of George Dobson for this game is obviously going to cause us some problems in the centre of midfielders. Ruel Slev comes forward for them. Good save by O'Hara. Yeah, this is not working. This is not working. We're going to go a little bit more direct up the tempo. We might have underestimated Brentford here. Another highlight, another free kick for Brentford. It does get cleared, and Andre Anderson is the man who picks it up and can drive down this left-hand side. He's only got Esposito to aim at, though. So he goes back to Luke O'Nien, who switches the play to Clark. Ugh. I'm not liking the look of this game. Pretty even going by the match stats, but not great in the attack on third. I might have to stop persisting with Andre Anderson. He really is not playing well in that attacking midfield role. We'll bring on Marcinski. Come on, boys. Half an hour to go. Ivan Lopez on this right-hand side. Whips it in. It gets cleared. Where was Josh going? And Metcha comes forward. Oh, it's a penalty. Ballymumba takes him out. If you're going to take him out, do it 10 yards earlier. Ben Rama steps up. He puts it away. I think we're suffering defeat here, lads. Come on, get one goal back. Give me some hope. That's all I want. Zamburek picks it up on the left, plays it in. Batista, Maya and Claire. Falls straight to their players though. Ball switched to Ben Rama on this right hand side. Can we win that? No, we can't. Watkins is in behind. Jack Ross. Oh, he's a difficult one, Jack Ross, because a lot of us were pretty excited when we did appoint him. You know, obviously, being a relatively young manager from Scotland, he was a growing reputation rather than what had happened to us in the past, where we were signing managers who, you know, their reputation in the game was only going down. 3-0 to Brentford, unbelievable. Once I think issues started happening within the first season with Jack Ross, he seemed to set up his team. We would go 1-0 up, and at that point we would just sit back and defend, which was crazy. Because not only did we have one of the best squads in the league, all it did was invite pressure, and we ended up losing a lot of points that way. Now, when we lost Josh Madja, our problem suddenly stopped being conceding, which it used to be, then it was attacking. And it went completely reversed. Suddenly, we weren't conceding, but we weren't scoring either. And I think with Jack Ross, at the end of the season, obviously not getting promoted, so that was a failed objective. Not winning the Leeson.com trophy or Checker Trade trophy. Even though nobody was really bothered about that at the start of the season. It's obviously a problem once you get to a final. Oh, Brentford are crushing me here. He needed to start this season. We needed to start on fire, and we didn't. We started incredibly poorly. And then obviously, I think the majority of the fans at Sunderland were happy once we sacked him. The problem was we hired Phil Parkinson, and I believe he lost like 9 games of his first 14 or something silly. We really did look like a side who was going to potentially get involved in a relegation scrap in League One. Thankfully, we did end up turning it around, and we started with some form under Phil. And we've done okay. We're just outside the playoffs now. The amount of times we've had the opportunity to get into the automatic, at least race or at least conversation, and we've failed, has been numerous over the course of this season. Are we happy with Phil Parkinson? Probably not. I don't think you'll find many Sunderland fans who will see he's the right man for the job. But at the same time, you can't just keep swapping and changing your manager until you find someone you're happy with. Because we've done that for years. And regardless what happens this season, whether it gets finished, whether it doesn't, if trend continuing. We are still only battling for the playoffs. We're currently outside of the playoffs as things stand. Only a couple of games left before we get to January. We do have that £8.5 million to spend. We need it. Huge game, Bosco. West Brom away from home. If we can avoid fate in this one, I would be very happy. After that Brentford game, that was. It's just clicked on what happened there. We got absolutely destroyed 4-0. As our youth and training facilities completing their upgrade, which is great. So away from home against West Brom, who's went in the third? Sheffield United have went in the third. So now, let's assume Sheffield United win their game in hand. We are 8 points clear from third place, which is good. But that could quickly change today against West Brom. Dobson showing pleasing progress. Dobson could potentially play in the Premier League, I think, with his mental attributes. And the fact that he's young means he can still improve despite his limited potential now. Right, do we have any returns from injury? Andre Anderson doesn't get the start over Ballymumble. We'll bring Josh Scowen in at the defensive midfield. Marcinski does get the start. We don't need Charlie White on the bench no matter what happens. We'll keep Esposito in the starting lineup. Leave Antonin on the bench. Right then, West Brom. What do you reckon? Do you reckon we're getting stuffed here? Might very well might. Come on, boys. First highlight of the game, it's way on the attack, which is nice. Denver Hume to Ballymumba. Gets cleared though by West Brom. Josh Scowen wins the ball to Jack Clark on the right. He's got the overlap from Ivan Lopez. Back to Josh. Come on. Now we're losing our impetus a little bit here. Switch the play to the left-hand side. It's good. Batista Maya to Denver Hume overlapping. Come on, Denver. Whips it in. Jack Clark's there. Go 1-0 up. Come on, boys. Get this win against West Brom. It'll be absolutely huge. Batista Maya doing well with Denver Hume on the left. Jack Clark's 7th goal of the season. He hasn't even played that well either. So to get 7 goals for the season whilst not playing particularly well is absolutely fantastic. Half an hour gone. Doesn't look like West Brom are particularly going for this, and we seem to be matching up quite well against them. And after going 1-0 up, that has absolutely killed the game. Until now, 40 seconds remain of the first half. Ballymumba wins the ball. He certainly does. He's driving down this left-hand side. Switch the player. Or is he going to go for goal himself? He is. Bally, don't be so selfish. Let others play. Come on, boys. Same again, second half. I would still take a point at this from this game. West Brom, obviously one of the best sides in the league. I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up equalising at some point. Half an hour remaining. Esposito's not having the greatest game up top. We'll bring on Anton in. Where is he? There he's there. Unless he scores from this, then I will cancel the substitute. Ballymumba to Esposito gets blocked and cleared. Oh, Kalisa. What was that? Oh, thank God for that. If we conceded from that, I would have been absolutely fuming. 15 minutes to go. Ivan can come off a Luke 09. Lyndon Gooch can come on for Jack Clark on that right hand side. Come on, boys. See this through. 10 minutes remain. I think we're winning this. This will be an absolutely huge game if we can get the 3 points. Denver Hume driving down the left hand side. The spaces are opening. He's going all the way by himself and his finishing is dreadful. Not really his speciality though, so we can let him off. And there we have it. Time is ticking away. West Bromwich Albion 0, Sunderland 1. An absolutely phenomenal result. You know, you always get worried once you get stuffed in a game previous, whether that's going to throw your form off. Thankfully, the boys have responded well. 4 points clear from Newcastle now, but they do have a game in hand. And I believe this is our final game before January. So this will be our final game of the stream. Next time we go live will be the January transfer window. And whilst I'm off stream, I will be having a look through about 20,000 players. But as I mentioned earlier in the stream, which you might have missed, this is the end of my 14-day self-isolation, which means as of tomorrow, I do return to work. Now, streams will of course continue. I don't have a schedule or anything, so I'm not really upsetting the apple cart like that, but it'll not be as often as it was previously. Yo-Yo Man will of course though stay as scheduled every day at 6:15. So if you haven't watched Yo-Yo Man and you're just here for the streams, might be worth just getting the playlist on, have a flick through, see what we've been doing. Home against Blackburn though will be the final game today, and you would expect us to be able to get a win out of this one. Benji Kim Ayoka is getting a 155 grand offer, and I will accept. We are contributing a little bit to his wages. Yeah, Pete, all good things come to an end. To be honest with you, I'm just happy I'll be able to go down the shop and get some milk for myself rather than having to ring my uncle. Marcinski returns to the starting 11. Hanchelson, Kalisa. Looks good to me. We actually got the confirmation, Pete, because obviously my partner works in the NHS and got herself tested when she started showing symptoms, and she did have it, so she was positive. So the fact that I've showed no symptoms in these entire 2 weeks has been a little bit of a surprise, because whilst we have been sleeping apart in different beds, you know, we've still lived in the same house together. First highlight of the game, Dobson wins the ball in the centre of midfield, out to Denver Hume on the left. They look pretty rigid in the defence, so it might be hard to break down. Oh yeah, we're all fine. I mean, it took her out for a good about 5 or 6 days, but it was never to the point where we were considering like hospitals and stuff. It was just like a flu. Sort of flu-like conditions, which would have been like under that. Esposito with the first goal today, 13 minutes in. First half's been relatively quiet, but we are on top of the game. Hopefully we can get ourselves another 3 points to wrap up today's stream. Blackburn don't look like they're offering too much. They are playing on the counter. Dobson. Ivan Lopez does win the ball. Oh, he goes for goal. It's a good save by Elliott in goal. We'll go back to positive. No need to push for this now. Albanos. Is that our Albanos that we had at Barnsley? Very well might be. Hancha Olsen to Batista Maya. Marcinski tries to find Denver Hume overlapping on the left, but Batista Maya does it. It's played in. Jack Clark. Ivan Lopez. Ivan. You scored plenty of goals as well from right back today, this season. Why do I keep starting Jack Clark over Lyndon Gooch? I do not know, so I will make that change now. Ballymumba's not having the greatest game in central midfield, and he's on a yellow card, so I think I'll look to get Andre Anderson on in his place. There he's there. Save ourselves going down to 10 men. 20 minutes to go. We've played pretty well in today's game without playing excellently. Just don't throw it away now. Andre Anderson switches the play to the left-hand side for Batista Maya, who plays it to Denver Hume. Back in. Come on. Bury this. Oh, Anderson. How has he missed that? That should have rippled the back of the net. Dobson plays it back to Kalisa. To Ivan Lopez. Marcinski. Come on, Lyndon Gooch. Show me why I should be starting you over Jack Clark. To George Dobson. Nice little triangles there. Ivan in the box. I have told him to shoot less often. I am still Leeds, Pete. Oh. 15 minutes to go and Barcelona. Blackburn Rovers equalise. Oh, dear me. I can't believe we're not going to win this game. So many good opportunities as well. Antonin. You're coming on the left-hand side. I can't take off Esposito. Come on, boys. Lyndon Gooch. Plays it to Ivan on the right-hand side. Get the goal here. Gets past his man. Esposito. Oh, it's blocked. No. Well, looks like we're ending this stream on a little bit of a sour note. Sunderland 1, Blackburn Rovers 1. Should have been 3 points, that. But yeah, Pete, I am still Leeds. I think I'm about a week ahead of you. So I'm about 7 episodes into the Leeds save. So we've still got plenty of content, even though I am returning to work. And of course, Yo-Yo Man will remain a daily save. But anyway, lads, thank you for joining me today. I very much appreciate it. And it probably won't, well, it won't be tomorrow I come live next. It will probably be on Wednesday. So I will certainly see you boys there. Take it easy. See you at 6:15 for Yo-Yo Man.